escalating drama in Greece is the focal point. That is the focal point of the G20 summit today in Cannes, France. European leaders talking about getting the country off the euro as an attempt to rescue the currency. The possibility of a looming Greek default hangs over the world's 20 most powerful leaders. Fears that a crisis in Greece will have a ripple effect on the global economy, sending countries spiraling into recession. The G20 now scrambling to fix the euro crisis. Joining me now to talk more about this is Gerald Celente, publisher of the Trends Journal and director of the Trends Research Institute. Thanks for joining us, Gerald. How much danger is the euro in right now?
It's in great danger. The whole European Union is in great danger. Listen to the words of Silvio Berlusconi that he said on Saturday that were hardly repeated. He said it was a strange currency that has not convinced anyone. That's what he said. And then, of course, he backtracked right away. And all you have to do is look what's going on over there in France as the G20 meet. If you want to see the levels of disconnect, all you have to do is look at the gala that they're throwing. It looks like an Academy Awards ceremony with the red carpets rolled out and the paparazzi shooting off their flash. There's a total disconnect what's going on between the world leaders and what's going on out in the streets. The systems are collapsing.
And, right now they're talking about booting Greece off of the euro. I mean, do you think that this is in the best interest of the Eurozone to kick Greece out of there?
It's in the best interest of everyone. We wrote when the euro came online back in 1999 that this was being done with the euphoria of globalization. Remember, before that, in the late 80s, there was no China in the markets. East of Berlin was behind the Iron Curtain. So there was this whole euphoria about a European Union. And it was also something that looked upon by the older generations as a way to stop future wars. But in reality, all it was a scheme for the bankers to be able to do big deals easier. And again, that's all these austerity measures are about. It's paying off the banks of the Belgium, the Dutch, the French, and the Germans that have made bad bets.
But let's talk about the consequences of if Greece does default. There is this fear that it's going to set off this global recession. What would be the consequences if Greece does default?
It's bigger than Greece, and that's what you see. They're using Greece as the excuse for the whole failure. It's one of the smallest countries in the EMU. It's peanuts compared to Italy, which is in much greater danger, with a much worse GDP to debt ratio. And then you have Ireland, and you have Spain. What are they going to do? Give Greece another couple of $1 billion when they're $500 billion in debt? So no, it's much worse than that. Look at the problems in the United States.
So what is civilization? We look at it, I've looked at it, for tens of thousands of years. It has been before us all along as a zug enveloping our very beings. What is this thing that we call civilization, and what is its purpose? As I go back in time, deeper and deeper, farther and farther back, we come back to ancient Egyptians and the lands of Myrrh. And we find that they were mining this planet for resources. Why? Why would we want to mine our planet? And why is it that Egypt sprung out of nowhere? It has no forebear. It comes from nowhere. It's a transplant colony from somewhere. Who are these men that we see before us? Who are these leaders that seem to be leading us astray? Why is it that all the ages that they have existed in power has been nothing but strife and war? Who are these men? When I look to 911, I don't see an inside job. I see an Illuminati job. I see a global plan set out to bring us to coercion, to have us conform to their will. And isn't that really what it's all about? Conforming to their will? Life on this planet is not humane, and it never has been. Why? Because it's not human. It was never developed by humans for humans. If anything, at this current point, it generates cash. What is cash? But merely a pantacle, a magical sigil, an emblem of control. Notice this man, V. We are getting to the age of the dark hero. We are getting to the age where Superman is replaced by the Hellspawn. We have the death of Superman. He's killed off. And he is replaced by a Hellspawn. This is conditioning. We have Batman getting his back broken. And he is replaced by an angry villain who knows nothing but death. And who is this angry villain that replaced the original Batman, who was actually the son of a Templar? None other than Azael, a fallen angel, taking over. We are in the age of the dark hero, folks, and this is being set up and conditioned into our brains. We are being subjected to a new mode of thinking, whereby America needs to become a tyrant. If America didn't become a tyrant, they could never point to us and say, hey, look what happens when you have been given freedom. You will become perverse. They can never look to America in the global future when the global government is ruling and say, look what happens. America's the best reason to not give you freedom. They've become perverted tyrants.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, November 4th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is my website, ggnonline.com. That's www.ggnonline.com. Also on YouTube, it's DDarko 2012. That's, of course, if it doesn't get pulled, which I got threatened the other day with by YouTube, they're going to shut down my channel and delete all my, 1,200 videos of work and thousands of hours. But either way, I have a poll up here. If given the choice, would you abandon the human body and convert? And I just think this was kind of an intuitive slip because it's covertly converting into a cyborg-like machine. So it's a typo, but like I said, it actually makes sense. Covertly convert into a cyborg. But so far, 78% say no, and 8% say yes, followed by 4%, or followed by 8%, saying not sure, and 4% maybe. Okay, you can put your email address there, follow me there, news archive there, donate here, or on YouTube's video description, there's a link with Global Government News Group as well. Okay, I'm going to get moving here. Okay, so Vendetta mask becomes symbol of Occupy protest. So it says here, look at the photo, and Occupy protesters, you'll likely see a handful of people wearing the mask of the cartoon-like man with a pointy beard, closed mouth, smile, and mysterious eyes. So, yeah, so I wanted to just go through it real briefly. This is Alan Moore. It's the one that created it. He's created a bunch of stuff. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I mean, honestly, personally, I don't know. It's like this guy could be. I don't know. It's kind of like an enigma, really. You got to take from it what you can. He is an anarchist, and so I can see his little views down here. But when you go all the way down there, he says that basically the truth is that it's not the Jewish banking conspiracy or the gray aliens or the 12-foot reptoids from another dimension that are in control. The truth is far more frightening. No one is in control. The world is rudderless. Now, I think that may be disinfo. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful of I think, what he says. But maybe he's right. Maybe it is just, us little plebes versus the elites. So I don't know. But either way, I believe this person is a Freemason. It doesn't necessarily make him evil or anything, or malevolent. I'm just pointing that out, just so those people that are wearing these masks are aware of that they are being steered. There is a rudder, and they're being steered with a rudder. That's why I'm saying that's what I'm saying basically. Bright spot in job numbers. So unemployment's going up. All right, great. I think it was 9%. They put that number out. But you look over here, and it says here, Chief contradicts Pelosi, knows of no study backing her 15% unemployment claim. And that's funny because talking about here that Pelosi made a comment on Thursday that unemployment rate would now be 15% were it not for the economic stimulus, which is funny. Why? Because the real unemployment rate was actually above that at 16%, and that was in June of last year in 2010. So, again, bullshit. Unemployment up among college grads in October, more than 2 million now out of work. And then we have this, poorest of poor in U.S. hits new record, 1 in 15 people. Heating fuel at record high at European diesel surges. That's, of course, in Europe, UK. U.S. plans to issue $846 billion in treasuries in the next 6 months, 35% more than previous year. Next up, Sarkozy pledges fight for transaction tasks. You saw those important people, those noble men there all gathering in elegance, discussing. They're not discussing anything. They don't make any of the decisions. They're just there to give the agenda out publicly. It says here, banks scramble to make up for loss of debit card fees. Remember what I said of the backlash. So what are they going to do? It goes in here and it says that some places are getting rid of, free checking. There's our buddy, free checking, because it's just so nice to have free checking. They use your money to invest and make money off of it. And here, Twitter storm as HSBC systems crash affects millions across the UK. Well, what is that? It's a bank run. That's what it is. It's a bank run, a modern bank run. It says here, a bank holiday. It says here, Greek government on brink of collapse. We covered that. And maybe they should leave. Maybe they should never went in there like Ireland. But Ireland's getting a bailout too. So get ready for austerity measures, Ireland. Another one. Oregon gangs force poor to sell kidneys for desperate Israelis. Students trade hacking skills for U.S. scholarships. And of course, I talked about that before. NSA, CIA offering hackers jobs. Uganda involving the men in family planning. So got to get those men in Africa to get on board with the family planning. It says here, Indian outbreak of polio under a different name in the vaccinated. So yeah, 400 people have died recently from an unexpected or from an outbreak. And it says here, the only thing is that all of these people were vaccinated. It says here, polio, the last 1% of the 1%. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is fighting against polio in the 99%. So here we go with those percentage numbers like South Park, which was a good episode, I thought. Sudan, over 1 million animals vaccinated, so got to get the animals. And they are not exempt. Merck's profits explode as government-backed HPV shot Gardasil's sales. So we're talking about UNICEF, remember? Kate Middleton sparks pregnancy rumors with food choice, and they're talking about these peanut butter paste things that they hand out to these poor people. Not poor people, but just starving people, I guess. And look at this. They said that she may be pregnant because, she's avoiding peanuts. And but the real thing is what? They're like, I'm not, what's in there? And he's reading the ingredients like, I'm not eating this shit. She refused it. And then he's probably like, maybe you're on something, babe. Says here, Debbie Wasserman Schultz saying life begins at conception is extreme and radical. They're trying to change the law. Formula ads cut breastfeeding. So it says widespread advertising for infant formula significantly reduces mothers' motivation to breastfeed their children. Toxic baby formula, that's right. And saying that deadly melamine is containing about 90% of all infant formulas. It says here from the CDC, infant formula and fluorosis. So it says, that it's safe to add. Evidence suggests that mixing powdered or liquid infant formula concentrate with fluoridated water on a regular basis may increase the chance of a child developing the faint white markings of very mild or mild fluorosis. But the CD says you can use fluoridated water for preparing their formula. Stricter ban on baby formula considered in China and around the world. GM potatoes heading to a store near you. Great. It says here, why is the U.S. Using X-ray security scanners Europe rejects as unsafe? Then PG&E begins removing smart meters due to health effects. That's right, smart meters in California. Sunscreen may interfere with skin's natural defense to UV light. And then we have anti-smoking drug greatly raises suicide risk. Next up, critics say that new Michigan anti-bullying bill actually condones bullying. Thank you.